Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be the people you attract. Well, I've got an email today from a woman who I think she said she's 28, if I remember right. And up until the relationship she had this past year, she's never had a successful long-term relationship. She says that things were pretty good for about the past year. They got along great. They didn't argue. Everything was all hunky-dory, fine and wonderful. And then he basically said that he didn't want to be in a relationship anymore. He didn't want to be tied down to one woman, and he could not picture himself spending his life with the same person. So obviously she's pretty devastated about this. But what's interesting is in her email, she reveals some of the characteristics that she tends to attract in a lot of the guys that she dates. And so we're going to talk today about is how what you focus on is what causes the type of people to be automatically drawn and attracted into your life. And by recognizing what you tend to think about, what you tend to focus on, and also how you tend to view yourself, that's going to determine the type of people that you vibe and you resonate with and the kind of people that you attract into your life. So the idea is that you can, instead of being unconsciously competent or incompetent of what you want, you can become consciously competent and actually attract the kind of people you want into your life, especially if you've always had trouble attracting people that really weren't that great. And that's part of what I see here in this woman's email. It's just she's attracted consistently low quality men into her life, and she wasn't able to recognize that they were low quality. So I have a quote that I wrote in this particular topic, and then we're going to go through her email. And so the quote says, "You attract how you act. Women who have a high level of trust in their fathers tend to be able to trust men and recognize which ones are trustworthy and which ones are not. Women who did not have a high level of trust in their fathers often have a hard time trusting men and can be jealous, insecure, or controlling. They also might have a history of attracting men who cheat, are weak, or narcissistic. Why? Anyone who is driven by their fears will attract people and circumstances into their lives that can help them overcome their fears, weaknesses, and limiting beliefs so they can make better choices in the future from a position of strength, balance, and self-love. The healthier and more loving a woman's relationship with her parents is, the higher the likelihood will be that she's great relationship material. The better you understand yourself and human nature, the better the quality of choices you will make in your personal and professional life." And so this email is from a woman, but really this is something that both men and women need to get. That's why it's so helpful, whether you're a man or a woman, to read my book, so you can better understand why people do what they do and what motivates them to do what they do. What causes people to fall in love, what causes them to fall out of love, what attracts them to one another, and what repels them from one another. And once you understand that, you can understand yourself better, and you can become cognizant of the reality of the person that you're thinking about dating. Because the whole idea is you want to date for a while before you get into a long-term commitment, or especially if you're going to get into marriage or having kids with somebody. Because at least for the first 90 days of a relationship, both people can basically hide who they really are. They put their best foot forward, and it's only after about 3 months that you can really see them for how they are. And especially if you've been together for a year, 2 years, 3 years, or more. I mean, then you really get to know that person on their good days and their bad days, what they're like, and then make an intelligent decision whether or not you want to stay with them long term or you want to keep circulating and searching. Because quite frankly, when you look at the statistics, over 60%, there's an over 60% divorce rate. And when you look at who's really happy in their relationships, you talk to people that have been together a long time, it's like, how often do you guys have sex? Well, especially people that get upset about that question, or they don't really want to talk about it, or, oh, well, when you get older, it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, why would you be with somebody if you're not enjoying each other and you're just basically roommates? The idea is when you got together was to be lovers and to be teammates and to become the best of friends. But instead, all you end up doing is becoming friends and having something platonic instead of something full of passion. Life's too short to spend it with people who you just don't feel that way about. So let's go through her email. She says, "Dear Coach Corey, I've been watching your videos for a while, and although I am a woman, I love them, and I am learning so much. I think your philosophy is wonderful, and life would be a paradise on earth if everyone lived like this. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. It's what I do. It's my purpose. It's just really about teaching people self-reliance. Because like when I was younger, my problem wasn't so much meeting women or getting dates. It was getting past the second or third date that was the problem. And when you really have a strong desire to date somebody that's spectacular, and occasionally you meet somebody that's spectacular, but they're always gone after 2 or 3 dates, it's incredibly frustrating. You never really get to know what it's like to date somebody that knocks your socks off. And so everything just ends up being average or mediocre, like most people experience in life. But I always felt that there had to be a way, and it was after I finally decided that I needed to end the marriage that I was in, and I swore I was going to figure this out, no matter what. Because I was not okay with just being in the middle, if you will. I wanted spectacular in every area of my life, and that's how I learned these things. I was not going to give up until I learned what I needed to know, and that's, because there's different strokes for different folks, and what I teach is basically how you can take control of your own personal and professional life, so you can have the kind of career you want, the kind of business you want, the kind of lifestyle you want, the kind of friends that you want, and the kind of lovers you want. Whether you want to get married, you want to have multiple relationships. There's some guys out there that they just like going for, it's a thrill of the hunt with them. I got friends that are like that. It's just, that's their thing. They want to sleep and date as many women as possible. Whatever, if that works for you, if that's what you want, great. You can do that by applying the things that I teach. And for women, it helps them better understand themselves and what they're attracted to in a guy. So instead of just being run and hijacked by their emotions, they can actually remain objective about them and look at them and see people for who they really are before they get too emotionally invested in them to where they get their heart broken unnecessarily. It's like becoming aware. It's like unplugging from the matrix, if you will. So she says a little bit about my situation. I was never successful in relationships, and I always attracted guys who were not loyal, not self-confident, and narcissists. All the worst things that you can imagine. Well, it's really how you view yourself. And so when you're attracting people who are not loyal, if you don't feel like deep down you deserve to have something really great, you're going to tend to be attracted to people that are going to bring drama, and you're not going to be able to have a great, healthy relationship because deep down you don't believe that you deserve to have a really great relationship. And so therefore you attract low-quality people into your life, and what happens? You end up having a low-quality relationship, so then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And when you look at that and you realize, like for me, I kept attracting great women, but I kept fucking it up, so I never got to know what it was like to actually date him. It doesn't mean you're going to spend the rest of your life with that person, but it should be able to be nice to date them for at least a few weeks, a few months, a few years, and get to know what that's like instead of just dreaming and watching fantasies of it in the movies and occasionally running into somebody that has that kind of life, that kind of relationship, that kind of lifestyle that you want. Because at the end of the day, life's really about having really awesome, great experiences, because great experiences produce great memories. And when you get older, you can look back in your life and have a fucking great smile on your face and be even more grateful when you look back because you got so many great memories with such great, high-quality people. She says, I guess it's natural since I had a difficult childhood and I had self-trust issues also. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life back then. However, I was working a lot on my psychology and everything else, and I have improved a lot. I became an IT specialist without any related background and achieved a lot in that area. I even have managing positions right now, and I am proud of myself. That's awesome. I mean, the best things that you can invest in is really self-improvement. Because the better you become, the more valuable you become to other people, to other employers, to other businesses, to your clients. The higher you can charge compensation-wise, the more fun you can have, the more freedom you can have, and the better the quality of the relationships that you're going to have, and the better the quality of fulfillment you're going to have in your life. Investing in yourself pays the best dividends. Also, I invest a lot in my physical appearance. I'm a sports enthusiast, and I take good care of myself. Naturally, my self-esteem raised a lot. When you focus on making yourself happy, taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, and taking care of the quality of the people that you allow into your life, you're going to be happier. And when you're happier, you're smiling more. And the more you smile, the more you're going to notice other people who are smiling and happy. But if you're frowning a lot and you're not happy and you're complaining and you're whining a lot, you're going to tend to attract other people that are right in that same vibe as you are. The idea is that these people challenge you to become better and help you rise above and improve the standards that you have, to raise the bar, so to speak, for yourself. Last year I met a great guy and I felt like he was my soulmate. We had such a great time together, lots of great conversation, lots of fun. We never argued, and for the first time in my life, I had a real great relationship. I'm 28 years old now, and we were together for a year, and at the end of the relationship, things started to fall apart. It all started when I asked him about why things were not as good between us sexually, and he opened up to me that it happens to him after some time in a relationship. I mean, bottom line is sometimes you grow apart. Sometimes you realize your goal, especially if you're together for many years, and you grow a lot together, maybe at some point your goals and your values are no longer aligned. And that's okay. I mean, that happens with friendships too. That happens with business partnerships. That happens with client relationships. I mean, the older you get and the more you look back in your life, you realize it's just a sea of people coming into and out of your life. And it's nice to be able to attract the kind of people you want into your life so you can have great experiences with them, as opposed to missing out like I experienced a lot in my early 20s. Because then you're always walking around wondering, what if? I don't want to go my whole life without ever being in love and knowing what it's like to be with somebody who's crazy and head over heels in love with me. And the more relationships you have and the more breakups that you have, even when you're the one that does the dumping, they still hurt and they're hard. But each time you get over a breakup, you realize and especially when you've had many relationships in your life and you get good at it, you're no longer fearful of leaving a friendship or a business relationship or an intimate relationship if you realize that staying in that relationship is limiting you and no longer serves you. And that gives you the strength to move on and say, you know what, I can do even better. I can create something even better. I want a new adventure. I want a new career. I want to live in a new area, a new neighborhood. I want to experience different people. When you feel like you have lots of choices and you know how to attract the kind of people and circumstances you want in your life, you'll never again are going to want to settle. Because you know it's just a matter of time before you're able to improve things. So she continues on, he doesn't want sex with the same woman anymore, cannot imagine himself being with only one woman forever, and he probably wasn't mature enough yet in similar things. It also could be maybe he felt like you were pressuring him a little bit into locking him down to a commitment or having a relationship. But again, you recognize that for whatever reason, he's no longer as passionate with you as he once was in the bedroom. And sometimes this is going to happen. Sometimes you're going to get bored and you're going to outgrow the other person. And you know what? Sometimes they're going to become bored and outgrow you. And part of being mature and loving yourself is recognizing that, you know what? When you really truly love somebody, you want them to be happy, even if that means they end up being happy with somebody else. And that's in these kinds of situations, you say, hey, great. I'm not looking for that, but hey, go find what you're looking for, and if you ever change your mind, get in touch, but I'm going to move on. And the more breakups you go through, the easier that becomes. And when you've been through a number of them, then you're able to look at the situations as they really are, and it's going to hurt, but in the long run, the next relationship you're going to have is going to be even better than the one you're currently in or currently leaving or about to leave, because you're now better because of that experience of being with that person. If you're always looking like, what's good about this? What can I learn from this? How can I grow? How can I become better? How can I use this experience to be better myself and attract a better quality person? I told him that this was not acceptable for me, and I want a real intimate relationship where partners invest in each other, take care of each other, and does not end after some time. And then we broke up, and he never reached out to me after that. So you look at his actions. What are his actions? He never reached out again. So he did miss you, and that's okay. It just means that relationship ran its course. And I mean, you're 28, now you just had the longest lasting relationship of your life. It's a win. You got better. You had a much better quality relationship than everything you've ever experienced. So this should be your baseline. You should never again consider, because now you've experienced good communication, getting along well, and having a great time, even though it didn't last long term. Now you know what that's like. You know what it feels like. And therefore, you can recognize the difference because now you've experienced it. Somebody that you can have a decent relationship with, and somebody who just brings drama and chaos into your life. So next time around, when you spot somebody that's a drama king or a queen that comes into your life, you can easily get out before you get too emotionally invested. So bottom line is you've gotten better. So this is awesome. This is great. This is the whole purpose. Life is change. Growth is optional. She says, I moved on with my life and I enjoy being alone, but sometimes I feel like I miss him so much because maybe it ended so unexpectedly. Well, I mean, deep down, I know because everybody goes through this, you experience fear. Am I going to, what about, because I've had such a history of bad relationships, is my next one going to be worse? And that's an understandable fear to have. But the bottom line is you got to move forward. You know what it's like. You know what it feels like to have something dramatically better than anything you've ever had in the past. And so the idea is to take the gifts and the lessons and attract an even better quality person. And because you're happier now and you're better now, the next person's going to be even better than this particular dude was. She says, I never contacted him on purpose, but I met him a couple of times unexpectedly, and it still makes me sad every time. I haven't met anyone else yet. Although I try to live my life to the fullest, take chances, go out, and keep myself busy. It looks like all gentlemen have disappeared into the dark. Here's another woman. It's like, where have all the great guys gone? Well, they're reading my book. So in time, more and more of them will be out there. But the idea is now that obviously you're reading the book and you're following my videos, you know what to look for. You're able to tell which guys got their shit together and which guys don't. And all that's going to do is help you make even better choices. Because if you don't get hung up with somebody that can't be what you want, then you're still open into meeting somebody else. A lot of people get fixated on one person and they ignore the reality that that person can't be what they want. And so since they're focused on trying to stay with somebody and making something work when the other person's really not trying to make it work, or it can't work because maybe they're just not compatible, then they close themselves off from any new possibilities. But this way, when you recognize that somebody can't be what you want, you keep circulating. You keep looking to meet somebody until that person's goals and values matches your own. I was hoping you have something to say that would cheer me up and keep me positive during those sad and weak moments. The bottom line is every day that you get through where you don't have the right person in your life means you're one day closer to that person, that next great love of your life coming into your life. So in the meantime, you should be working and focusing on enjoying your life more and becoming a better version of yourself, because the sooner you get there, the sooner you're going to vibrationally align yourself and your life and your circumstances with the kind of person that you really want. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.